Hello everyone and welcome to It Goes Off, and we are completely going off today. Got a very special guest in the studio, we'll get to that in just a minute. But firstly, I welcome my regular co-host, Grantley Bernard. Grantley, another exciting weekend of NBL action.
Oh, they're all exciting. But this one was even more exciting than normal.
Well, there was plenty going off in the Melbourne Tigers v Cairns Taipans game on Sunday. And we've got a very special guest, a superstar of the NBL, and a man that was involved in a little bit of the argy-bargy that was going on Sunday, and that is, of course, Alex Loughton. You're back from injury, Alex. Must be great to be back out there with your team.
Fantastic to be out there, just running around. We've just got to get the ball rolling with our team, and you know, it'll happen.
Well, you had an absolute shocker, not you personally, but the team had a shocker on Sunday against the Melbourne Tigers, and we saw just perhaps the emotions running high between yourself and Tommy Greer early on. What was going on there?
Oh, look, it's a fair comment. It was a shocker, but there was it was a hard foul that I had to deliver. And then on the chest bump, obviously Tommy took a spectacular fall of epic proportions. So I forgot that Roger was reffing the game, and obviously with Roger you get
ching ching.
You don't get much leeway with Roger, and I forgot that, but I was very quickly reacquainted with his style, and it's the players that have to make the adjustments.
That's right. So. And of course, Grantley, you might be able to fill us in because you were right on the bench reporting for the Herald Sun on the sidelines between Trevor Gleeson and Aaron Fearne, the coach, and the two coaches going at it.
If Greer Loughton was really just the undercard to the Fearne Gleeson stoush, and you know, it was one of those situations where it could have, you know, gone from a bit of finger pointing and nose to nose and, you know, a few little verbal exchanges to something a bit more serious, but people were able to get in the way and clear the decks a bit, and then they went back for seconds at the end of the game at the post-game handshake. So it's fair to say that there is no
coming off that the handshake there, or
there's no love lost there.
No.
And well, what was it like at halftime, Alex? Was there any comment made about the little exchange?
Oh, look, I was heading out through the tunnel. I looked back, and then it was on. I was like, oh, which players? And it's like, hang on a minute, it's Fearne and it's Gleeson going at it. Like, there was obviously a comment made on the side from something to do with the bench or the score bench. And then, yeah, there's a bit of a tussle, but, you know, we just try to steer the ship right in the locker room and just come out, you know, normal. So
how much of that stems from Trevor being the Crocs coach for a few years? Aaron's obviously with the Taipans as a rival in North Queensland. He's played in the semi-finals, and then he goes back and takes three of your best players in the off-season. Is there, you know, a fair bit of animosity there?
I'd say it would underpin a lot of, you know, the rivalry. I think it's a healthy thing to have, and, you know, and always an added bonus for the victor to sort of just look at their opponent and say, look, you know, gotcha, you know. But I think that'll be a lot of good games between Tigers and Taipans.
Well, we've got a lot to get through on the program today, and we're going to get your thoughts on many of the issues that we touch on. But before we do that, just touch on the Cairns Taipans. I thought 2-2 where you're at without limited service from yourself and Ian Crosswhite not available for the first 4 games. I thought at 2-2 you were in very, very good shape. And then you were dealt another blow with Dusty Reichardt not being available on Sunday. How do you see the Cairns Taipans and where they're at right now? Because the start of the season, every coach tipped you to finish last.
Yeah, look, you know, that we've got the first time last week, we had myself and Ian and the whole starting 5 trained together for the first time last week. So, you know, we've got some teething issues that we'll have to get through. You know, I think if we can maintain that 500 sort of, you know, ranking there with, you know, the win-loss, and then sort of make a charge late in the season, I think we'll be better off late in the season rather than at the start. But we do have some things to resolve. But yeah, just those teething issues and getting that gel sort of happening between the starters, and then that'll sort of trickle around to the rest of the team.
One of those things you've got to get going. You've got to get Warren going, don't you?
Yeah, look, I mean, we went 1 for 25. We can't have that. You know, shooters got to be ready to go. You know, it's on everyone too that gets the other players open. So, you know, we've got to have better nights.
Well, there's plenty ongoing around the league. It was an exciting round, and one of the new players in the league is a player called Showtime Glover, and we've seen a real, I guess, on the back of Ty McKee a couple of years ago, and of course Gary Irvin last year, this trend to go and get the point cards. Showron coming in late, what do you make of his introduction into the competition?
It was interesting because we talked about him last week, didn't we, about the fact that he hardly played. But this week he actually got some more court time and did a decent job. There was a little bit of talk coming out of Wollongong that perhaps, even though he'd been on trial for a couple of weeks, they weren't that enamoured with him. But you know, they've given him some court time this week. He seems to have done the job, albeit in a loss to the Wildcats. So, you know, maybe they're taking a bit of a liking to him.
And Alex, what do you make of the point guards running around the competition now? Because virtually every team's got an import point guard nowadays.
Yeah, it's an interesting trend. I think I was impressed with you know, the 36ers going into the Wildcats home court. You know, with their Diamond Simpson.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they tried to trap him. You can't trap those guys that are so quick. They're just going to break down any trap and, you know, get past that. So with those guys, you got to stand back and just, you know, live and die by the three-point line from them. So I think you know, there's a good sort of excitement building up around the point guards. And if they can get it rolling for their teams, then who knows who could win.
Well, you felt the full force of the Melbourne Tigers, but they also did a number on Friday night against the Sydney Kings. The Kings showed a lot of promise at the start of the season, and perhaps we're maybe underestimating what the Melbourne Tigers are capable of doing. But they did a number on the Sydney Kings, and where do you see they're at the minute, Grantley?
Well, I mean, I think the Kings are going to become probably a fairly significant talking point as this goes along, because we did expect more of them. They're sitting 2-4 right now, and the bottom line is they haven't delivered. For what we were expecting, they haven't delivered. It seems like they've become a very, I guess, guard-orientated offense a bit. You know, Kazoo doesn't seem to be getting the looks that he needs or should be getting, and they need to make some more adjustments and get back to what, you know, I guess where their success is going to come from, and that's getting the ball inside.
Still averaging a double-double is Julian Kazoo, so it's still doing some very good things individually. But Alex, from afar, sitting back, seeing the Sydney Kings, they're important to the competition, and they had a couple of years off. Not so great last year, a lot of expectations coming in this year. What do you make of them? I mean, Anatoly Bose wasn't there on the weekend, so that is a big loss for him as well. Yeah,
look, I think Anatoly is a great pickup for them. You know, he should really shine this year. They haven't been able to get it done early. I'm hoping that, you know, they can really turn things around. But, you know, in terms of their last season, finishing that bottom, sort of second bottom, whatever it was, they've really got to make some strides this year to really bring the fans in and convince them that, you know, they're a team to watch.
Absolutely. Well, we have a little segment we call Who's Hot, Who's Not, and that's what we're going to get stuck into right now. Grantley, Bernard, who is hot?
Hot. Melbourne Tigers. 2-0 on the weekend against the Kings and the Taipans. 4-game winning streak, and they're 5-1, a share of the lead on the ladder. So you can't really get too much hotter than that.
They certainly can't. They're in fantastic form. Also, another player that's white hot is right at the moment is Brad Robbins. Brad Robbins filling in for the injured Damien Martin. You know Brad with your experiences.
He had a great game. It was a great game for Brad. It was good.
Yeah, he had a fantastic game. No Damien Martin, and he gets an opportunity. He has 16 points, 7 of 8 from the field. Drops in 6 assists and a remarkable 6 steals. So great performance by Brad Robbins.
Great effort. Just what they needed.
They certainly do. Now, who's not so hot, Grantley? I'll tell who's not so hot, and just to show that we show no bias towards our guests here. The Cairns Taipans, 1 of 25 from the three-point line. Not hot.
Not hot. Not hot. Look, that's warranted. That's not hot.
But even colder. And we have got the vision of this one, just to show we're not making it up. Jeff Dowdle at the free throw line. He airmailed one.
What? Is he not spending the time on the foul line and down up at with the Taipans there? What's going on there?
And look, maybe Dr. Dish isn't sort of giving them the good passes for the free throw, you know, shot, but yeah, it's can't. Look,
it's the worst feeling in the world when you're at a free throw line as well, because absolutely everyone's sitting there. You've got nowhere to hide, and you've got a bit of time to cop the abuse from the fans as well. So tough moment for Jeff.
On that one, he did back it up with a make. So you know,
he did.
Yeah,
No,
one or two.
He bounced back, but you know. Chin up, Jeff. Just keep working at him. Also, not hot is the Sydney Kings, and just not working for them at the moment. We spoke about Anatoly Bose not being there, but they put in a shocker.
Yeah, they did. And look, they've got to get better. Bottom line, right now they're cool to cold.
Well, I tell you what, one thing is white hot, smoking hot is the NBL competition. Attendances are up, TV audiences are up on last year. There's been a lot of talk about some of the delayed games and the impact that will have, but certainly hasn't. You know, we want to do better, but it was great to see that the TV audience are there and very, very strong for the NBL still. It's now time for a segment. I think, have you had a go at the 24-second shot challenge yet, Alex?
Yeah, look, we did. We ran into some trouble with the Dr. Dish. It wasn't just spitting them out fast enough. The passes.
No good.
No, even on the fastest setting, beep, just pegged them out. You get about 6 attempts. So,
no good.
No,
well, last week, Grantley, we saw a sensational performance by Chris Goulding, who set a world record, I might add, of 15. And this week we take a look at the Sydney Kings and Aaron Bruce. Let's see how he does.
Welcome to the Kingdom in the 24-second shot clock challenge. Here we have sharpshooter Aaron Bruce. Hi, Aaron. Hi. We have Julian Kazoo. He's pretty handy with the shot as well. Next we have the athletic Jeray Grant and super coach Moose Rebellion. Last year I was lucky enough to swish a few, so hopefully we can have another winner this year. Yeah. Oh, man! Ready? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think the pass has slowed him down, but very good effort. Well done, Aaron. 13.
Thanks, mate. Wasn't quite as many as him, but we can't all shoot like Ben Magic.
Yeah, if we keep practicing, maybe one day. But yeah, good. Oh, yeah, well done, lads.
Well, there it is, Aaron Bruce with a credible 13, but Grantley, Bernard, what is going on with the Sydney Kings? In complete disarray. They can't even get the it goes off sign-off right.
All over the shop. I think 3 weeks probation.
That is it. Sydney Kings not here for 3 weeks until you can get your sign-off going right. But well done to Aaron Bruce, a very solid 13, trying to chase down a spectacular 15 by Chris Goulding last week. Going to be hard to beat.
And Bubbles Goulding made such a big impression on the 24-second challenge that last week he had the gear off for the Cleo shoot.
He did.
Unbelievable.
Was he packing much punch, or how was he solid?
Oh, I wouldn't like to comment.
Right. Well, look out for that in the Cleo magazines. It's that time of the show where we like to get your feedback. And you can jump on my Twitter page, Andrew Gaze 10, or
Grantley Bernard,
or
A Loughton 40.
A Loughton 40. Hit us with your question.
Something like that.
You don't even know your own Twitter.
Oh, I've only done 2 tweets, so I'm just...
2 tweets. Very conservative is Alex Loughton.
It's got to make them good.
Going to go and track them down later.
It's that time of the program where we call it the Mark Zuckerberg Minute, and that's where we get your feedback off the Facebook page into those social media. And to the best question each week on offer is a Spalding game ball. Now, Alex, sometimes in these types of gifts they throw in the little subpar one, but that is the real deal, isn't it?
That is definitely the real deal.
And a quality ball, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Got to love the ball if you want it to love you back.
Alex is probably pretty happy to get a touch after playing the Tigers the other night. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Well, our question off the Facebook page today comes from Edward Rosier. What's his question, Grantley?
His question is, are we experiencing a rise in the quality of true point guards in the NBL this season? Reece Martin, Adam Gibson and Cedric Jackson, these guys are setting their teammates up beautifully. Do you agree?
Look, I agree. I think the point guards in the NBL have sort of the quality has risen a bit. That could be in part due to a lot of import point guards coming in, and the Australian point guards got to lift their game as well. But we're getting some really nice, floor generals, so it's been good.
Well, you've got one in your team this year, Jamal Wilson, who's very much a scoring point guard, isn't he? But he's had a good start to the season.
Yeah, he's come from a good pedigree, and he's played in Europe and on the bigger teams where he's really got to distribute the ball. And I think with us, he's been fantastic. So we're looking forward to later in the season when everything's running well.
Well, he's got those herky-jerky little head fake type moves, and
he's got more moves than a can of worms, hasn't he? He's a bit of a cross between Michael Jackson and LeBron James or something. He's like the feet are always going on the. I don't know how much of it's legal, but it's all there.
Well, on that, is it sometimes a little hard to read? It takes a little while to get used to a player like that as a teammate?
Yeah, no, I think you know, when we get the floor spread, you know, he's got the license to go to work. I think he can get past anyone, and he's been unselfish at times, a little too unselfish, you know, distributing the ball to non-shooters when we go 1 for 25. Maybe he's got to take that layup and, you know, start to put pressure on the scoreboard, but he'll be great for us.
Trivia question, who made the one?
The one
3-pointer for the Taipans.
It was Deborah George, and it was a long one as well.
Yeah.
So, well, there it is. That's our winner for this week on the Mark Zuckerberg Minute goes to Edward Rosier for that question here, and we'll be in touch, and a NBL game ball coming your way. Grantley, another huge weekend of NBL action coming up. Talk us through this round's action.
This weekend, double header on Friday. New Zealand Breakers against the Wollongong Hawks. You've got to back the Breakers at home in that one. Then it's the Melbourne Tigers against the Townsville Crocs. Gleeson against the Crocs for the first time since he moved south. I think it might be a little more friendly than last week's game. But give that one to the Tigers. 5 straight wins coming up. Gold Coast Blaze on Saturday night face an absolute crunch match against the Perth Wildcats. And I actually fancy the Blaze to upset the Wildcats in that one. Then on again Saturday night, the Adelaide 36ers against the Sydney Kings, and here's two teams that are absolutely desperate for a win. And I like the Sixers at home in that one. And on Sunday, the Taipans are at home to the Wildcats. The Wildcats are backing up, but I've got to go with the Wildcats over the Taipans.
Now, the Taipans, it's going to be a big game. Dusty Reichart, what are the chances of him being back in action?
It might be 50-50 at this stage. He's got a foot in a boot just to kind of take the pressure off. It's just a little tendon issue, but he should be okay. Thing is, he's at 85%. They want him at 95, so he's at 85 in a boot, but he's a bit better than that.
Well, Alex, you've been an absolute sensation here. We appreciate your time on It Goes Off. Hopefully you've enjoyed the experience, and might be just a hint of a little fine there for the comments about the officials, but terrific work.
Can you get fined?
No, I was respectful. I said it's up to the players to make the adjustments.
No,
right?
Can you get fined by the NBL for being on an NBL program?
Well, there you go. That'll be your first. Anyway, that's all we have time for, and it's time now to pay homage, as we do every week, to the very friendly people that provide some support for the NBL and the It Goes Off program. And first and foremost, iNet, connect better.
1.
Centrebet.
And 1.
Spalding.
Rent Smart.
Virgin Australia.
Virgin Australia, that's right. Alex doing a great job flying all our great athletes throughout this country.
Absolutely.
And it's spectacular. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the program. Again, thanks to Alex Loughton. Very good work by you, Grantley. Bernard, good to see you haven't taken your grumpy pills this week and you're back in full flight. Until next week, stay tuned on the #1 podcast for the NBL in the world, and it's called It Goes Off.
You probably be better than